But I think this question about trust and honesty, integrity, is really foundational for all of us in terms of how we think about our lives. And I think it all starts at home, to be honest. And I think the foundation of any individual as they pursue their career starts with the foundational principles and values that are instilled in you at a very young age. And so when we do recruitment, when we go to schools, when we go to universities, beyond the resume, beyond your GPA, beyond what school that you've attended, we look at those foundational principles in that you're a decent person, that you're a good person, that you've got a good sense of judgment when it comes to dilemmas that you may face in your life or in your work. And without any rule book, you have to rely on yourself. And what you rely on is really these core values of trust, integrity, and honesty. So that for me is really, really important.
And from an integrity perspective, I use something that I call the grandmother test. And I have 2 daughters. And so teaching them respect and honesty and inclusion is really my most important job in life. As much as I love my job here, that is my most important job in life, because they will then go on and teach others, and it's critical. So my message to them is, if you can't stand in front of if you couldn't make this message clear to your grandmother, then you should not be doing it, period.
If you think about diversity, diversity is all the things that we can see, but it's also many of the things that we can't see. And so there'll be things in this room that I don't know about you. Things like religion, things about your sexuality. Could also be things about whether we have disability here that may not also be obvious. So when we think about diversity, it's not just what we see, but also that sometimes is not what's seen. And then when you think about inclusion, it's about how we actually use everything that we see and can't see, and actually ensure that it benefits everyone. So it's a kind of an interesting separation. You know, I'm sure if we were given a project here as panelists, and we gave you a project as well, if you think about the level of difference and thinking that probably you hold in the room, I think you would kick our ass down here. But we don't know that, right? So I just want to make that separation, that sometimes what could obviously look as though it's different based on what we see, there could actually be a lot more there.
So I think for me, the biggest skill to have is to listen and to be able to have a conversation with individuals and really draw out what they're passionate about, no matter where they come from, no matter what level they are at, but just to get to know them as a person. And that just goes on making simple gestures of, instead of walking into the meeting and getting down, to business, literally saying, how was your weekend? What did you do? Getting to learn a little bit about them, asking questions, being inquisitive, because you're going to find touch points that you can relate to no matter what. And that really allows you to draw upon kind of coming together and connecting on another level.
And I would encourage you that there will be times where you will sit in a meeting and you will think, well, I'm the youngest person here and they don't care what I have to say. And that is not the case. Don't hesitate if you have an idea, if you have a thought or a question, don't hesitate to ask it or to share it, because that's how you learn, that's how you grow. And if you have a thought, that's being your authentic self. So you should share that. And I always ask questions. Probably I'm always talking, but don't hesitate to reach out to people and try and learn from them if you're interested. And that's probably the biggest piece of advice that I could give to any of the interns that college hires that start. I always tell them, your opinions, as long as you share them respectfully, they matter.
The key to me now, when I think back, and as I think where you're sitting, is those bumps is actually where you become more familiar with who you really are. It's those trials and tribulations that really produce a better you. When things are great, and it's easy. But when things aren't great, and it's how you operate during those times, that you learn so much, right? And you learn so much about yourself and how others are engaging with you and how you deal. So never let a good crisis go to waste. It helps define you. It helps you become a better person.